They didn't start by calling me a villain. No, that came later. At the beginning, it was much quieter, much more subtle. It was the kind of change you only notice when it's already too late to fix. Conversations would suddenly stop when I entered the room. Eyes that once greeted me warmly now avoided mine. Laughter would fade into silence, and smiles would disappear as if they had never existed. At first, I convinced myself it was nothing. People have moods. Situations change. Life gets complicated. That's what I told myself every time I felt that strange distance growing between me and everyone else. But then the whispers began. Soft at first, almost unnoticeable. A sentence here, a rumor there. Something about a mistake. Something about blame. Something about me. I ignored it. I had to. Because acknowledging it would mean accepting that something was wrong. And I wasn't ready for that. Until one day, someone said it out loud. You're the reason everything is falling apart. The room went silent. I looked around, expecting someone to disagree, to laugh it off, to say it was ridiculous. But no one did. And in that moment, I understood something terrifying. It wasn't just a rumor anymore. It was a belief. I didn't become the villain overnight. I fought it harder than anyone could imagine. I stood in front of them, one by one, explaining everything with patience I didn't even know I had. I broke down every accusation, every twisted version of the story, every lie that had somehow become truth in their minds. You're wrong, I said, over and over again. That's not what happened. But the more I spoke, the more I realized something was off. They weren't listening. Not really. Their eyes didn't change. Their expressions didn't soften. If anything, they became more certain. It was like they had already decided who I was, and nothing I said could change that. And then it hit me. People don't want the truth when they're comfortable with a lie, because truth forces them to question themselves. And questioning yourself is uncomfortable, painful, complicated. But blaming someone else? That's easy. And I had become the easiest answer to all their problems. There's a moment in every story where something inside you shifts. A point where fighting no longer feels worth it. Where explaining becomes exhausting. Where being misunderstood starts to feel permanent. For me, that moment came quietly. I was standing there, listening to them talk about me as if I wasn't even there. As if I wasn't a person, but a problem. A mistake. Something that needed to be fixed or removed. And suddenly, I stopped caring. Not in a dramatic way. Not in anger. Just quietly. If they had already written my role, then what was the point of resisting? So I changed. Slowly at first. Then completely. I stopped explaining. Stopped defending. Stopped trying to be understood. And instead, I became exactly what they expected. Cold. Distant. Unapologetic. And the more I leaned into it, the more they believed it. Because sometimes, people don't want you to prove them wrong. They want you to prove them right. But what they didn't know, what none of them could even imagine, was that this was never really about me. Behind everything, there was a bigger problem. Something deeper. Something dangerous. A situation that had already begun spiraling out of control long before they ever pointed fingers at me. I had seen it. Understood it. Tried to stop it. But I failed. And when people don't understand something, they look for someone to blame. So they chose me. And at some point, I realized something strange. Maybe that was exactly how it was supposed to be. Because their anger toward me was the only thing keeping them from turning on each other. As long as they had a common enemy, they stayed united. And if that enemy had to be me, then maybe that was the role I was meant to play. The day everything reached its breaking point, it felt almost surreal. Like the final scene of a story that had been building for far too long. They gathered in front of me, one after another, until I was surrounded. Faces filled with anger, frustration, certainty. This ends today, someone said, stepping forward with confidence. I looked at them, really looked this time. These weren't strangers. These were people I once trusted. People I shared memories with. People who once stood beside me, not against me. And yet here they were. United. Strong. Certain. All because of me. It was almost ironic. I smiled. Not because I was proud, not because I had won, but because I finally understood. They thought they were here to end me. But the truth was, I had already decided how this story would end. And for the first time, I felt completely in control. I moved slowly, deliberately, reaching into my pocket as every pair of eyes locked onto me. The tension in the air became suffocating, thick with expectation. They thought I was about to fight back, to defend myself, to prove them wrong one last time. But I didn't. Instead, I pulled out a small glass vial. The liquid inside was clear, almost harmless looking. But its meaning was anything but. For a moment, no one spoke. The anger in their eyes flickered, replaced by confusion. "What is that?" someone asked. I held it up slightly, letting them see it clearly. "This," I said calmly, "is the ending you've all been waiting for." Their expressions changed instantly, because suddenly, they understood what I meant. And for the first time since this all began, they hesitated. The silence that followed felt heavier than anything I had experienced before. "No, don't do something stupid," someone said, their voice no longer confident. I almost laughed. Stupid? Maybe. But necessary? Definitely. Before they could react, I opened the vial. The faint sound echoed unnaturally loud in the stillness. Time seemed to slow, stretching the moment into something unreal. Wait. Too late. I drank it. The liquid burned as it went down, sharp and unforgiving, like the story itself refusing to end quietly. And then chaos. "No, what did you do? Are you insane? Someone help him." The same people who once wanted me gone were now trying to stop me from leaving. And in that moment, everything changed. My body weakened quickly, faster than I had expected. My legs felt heavy, my balance slipping as the world around me started to blur. Sounds became distant, like they were coming from somewhere far away. But I could still see them, their faces. The anger was gone, completely gone. In its place was something I had never seen before. Fear. Real, genuine fear. "Don't do this, please," someone whispered, their voice breaking. "We didn't mean it. We were wrong." Wrong. The word felt almost ironic now, because it came too late. It always does. As I fell to my knees, I felt an unexpected sense of calm. Not relief exactly, but something close to it. Like the end of a long, exhausting journey. "I was never your enemy," I said, forcing the words out as my strength faded. They went silent again, but this time, they listened. Truly listened. "I just became the one you needed, so you wouldn't destroy each other." The realization hit them all at once. I could see it in their eyes. The shift. The understanding. For the first time, they saw me clearly. Not as the villain, but as the person who chose to carry it all. The world slowly faded, their voices becoming distant echoes as everything grew quieter. But even in that fading silence, one truth remained clear. This was never about being right. It was never about being understood. It was about ending something before it destroyed everything. And sometimes the only way to do that is to become the villain. Because not every story needs a hero. Sometimes it needs someone willing to be hated, so everyone else can survive.